Spacey Sims, and we're back with more Color X Malice Unlimited. Still continuing the Adonis route, continuing where we left off in investigating all of the Adonis members. We're doing the Mikuni stories now. We've done everybody else, except for Zero. Obviously, we're saving the best for last. Okay, sure. We would have saved Akito for last, but, you know. I would have done Akito actually last of all the enforcers, but it made sense to do Mikuni kind of last before you do Zero. So, anyway. I don't remember which... Are we on the 4th or 5th one? I don't really remember, but anyway. Mr. Mikuni, I'd like to ask you something. What is it? If you want to ask me about my taste in women, please ask that question to someone else. No, I won't ask that again. This is in regards to the X-Day incidents 2 years ago. That string of incidents was carried out by regular people, enforcers who were used as disposable killers to exact vengeance, right? I heard that you left it up to them how they'd announce their crimes. However, during the April incident, you made the declaration. Choosing normal people to carry out the crimes was to make it difficult to track, as well as to sway the hearts and minds of the populace. Why were you the only one who bore everything at the beginning? It wasn't just at the beginning. Huh? The ones who ultimately carried things out were the enforcers, but the planning, weapons, and all the orders were carried out by myself and Zero. In order to fulfill their own desires, the enforcers joined with Adonis. It aligned with their desires, and we did not threaten them. Even still, even though my plan didn't call for it, I wasn't opposed to getting involved in it myself. Zero told me this. A leader is necessary for the revolution, so you should become the first criminal. Our goal is a world without evil. If you just move the pieces, you won't get your hands dirty. It's like watching it all from on high. But you can't call someone like that a leader, and that's far from my ideals. Even though he's just a member of a terrorist organization, he sure does like to speak grandly. In the end, it's all just self-preservation. It's another excuse to escape guilt. I wonder what he would do if I said that to him. I won't, of course. Zero thinking that he might get in the way probably stems from ideas like this, I imagine. He really does like to speak so nobly. He wants to remain noble himself without tainting his heart. You have a beautiful sense of will. However, there are many people in the world who criticize Adonis, those who would say that those beautiful convictions and ideals are just pleasantries. That no matter how much you pretend that it pains you, those feelings won't reach the dead. That it's meaningless. What do you think about those cruel words from people who misunderstand? You cannot win a revolution without sacrifices. A few sacrifices can't be helped. You've come this far having prepared yourself for that. Yes, but I cannot allow the kind of rampant violence that Zero permitted prior. Even those with malice in their hearts still have some merit as people. There's no reason to eliminate those who are only guilty of petty crimes. We do not desire a massacre. It sounds like I don't know. We seem to think that you do. What he's saying sounds correct, but in the X-Day incidents of 2 years ago, the ones chosen as victims of malice were selected for their sensational element. Corruption, stalking, bullying, harassment, people whose punishment society would agree with. They were chosen to give Adonis's actions legitimacy. In the end, it seems that he feels that those who were sacrificed were nothing more than pawns. Tools necessary to build the revolution. He just thinks of them simply as that. He plays the victim and has convinced himself that he's the only one with any scars and pretends to be deeply pained by the sacrifices. People like this are the absolute worst. There is something I would like to ask you. What is it? If someone close to you died, do you think your mind would change? When Zero lost his mother, it was apparently a trigger that made him keenly aware of the rampant grief in the world. I don't have that sense. I can understand if you want to feel grief on your own. I don't quite follow. Is that so? But if I was to feel others' pain and not the pain of his mother's death, then... At that moment, he'd lost something that made him human. Something that made him human. I didn't want to know that. Plus, I didn't want to be discovered by him. Yes, Zero has lost his humanity. He's the same as I am. I can't recognize sadness. However, I still do understand rage and being sensitive to the cries of others. It's because I can't face my own sadness. It seems that you know Zero better than I do. I can't understand. No one understands Zero's heart. Mikuni isn't even trying to understand. He doesn't comprehend the pain of ordinary people. I don't think just words will teach this lesson. If he were to meet the same fate, he might be capable of understanding. The feelings of someone who has had everything taken from them. Damn, she is like, getting to the point where she is like, I mean, she kind of hates all of them in a way, but she's also like, oh, they're all human, but now she's like, you know, you suck. Right? Putting in computer, not shirking duties, dreaming of the revolution, that kind of shit. Oh, we were on number 5. Okay. Cool. Well, here we go. What I know about Adonis. Yes, as someone who's devoted herself to Adonis, I wanted to deepen my insight. I learned about the founding, doctrines, commandments, and other basics, but rather than those academic things, I'd like to hear an account from you, someone who's been part of the inner workings since the beginning. All right. You really are quite the devotee, aren't you? Well, I've always wanted to ask you, but I've never really had the chance to speak to you. And asking Zero about it, well, yes, he isn't really one for giving his opinions. He thinks it's a pain and brushes it off. Yes. All right. Originally, before Adonis, this was an antisocial organization that my mother led. Did you know that? I did know there was an organization before this current version, but I didn't know that your mother had anything to do with it. Did the Office of Public Safety not notice them? They were under observation, however they refrained from making any public demonstrations. Their main goal was to increase their fellowship as a religious organization. Their thoughts were antisocial, but until they had secured finances, authority, and firepower, illegal actions were strictly prohibited. They're very well organized. Were they working behind the scenes in order to pull off a future coup d'etat? Coup d'etat? Coup d'etat? How do you say that? I don't know, anyway. Yes. My father was a politician, and he made sure that they didn't go too far. I'm sorry, I'm stretching. Yukihisa Mikuni. He was the prime minister 2 years ago, so he was aware of everything. No, he didn't know anything. Huh? My mother alone controlled the organization, and publicly they were a volunteer group. In other words, Yukihisa Mikuni's thoughts and actions while he was in office were unrelated. Well, honestly, I'm sure my father was vaguely aware of it. So, he pretended he didn't know? My father couldn't go against my mother. I don't know if it was love, but he definitely gave his all to my mother. My mother knew that and used my father. Behind the scenes, she gave her political opinions, guided him, and used him for her own objectives. The only reason that the organization could operate in the shadows was the clueless cooperation of my father. By appearances, my father was an exclusionary man who discarded the weak, but he couldn't disobey the woman he fell for and danced like her puppet. It's interesting. Oh my god. Go away, Verizon. Ugh, I hate that. I hate Verizon pops up message, sorry. Like, my phone just, like, popped up like, hey, hi. Here's my... But you can't just swipe it to get rid of it. You have to, like, click it open and be like, ignore, like, go the fuck away, like, leave me alone. Anyway. You could call it humorous. How to put this? That's a difficult marriage for me to imagine. Indeed. I think a more appropriate word would be warped. My father had many mistresses as well. He was prideful and arrogant, yet he still desired to be my mother's marionette. I cannot fathom that at all. Interesting. So, how did you wind up choosing to take the same path as your mother? As far back as my childhood, I was told that I would be the savior. Like, mom's kind of creepy, huh? With that shit. My ideals were the same as my mother's because I was declared her successor from an early stage. I was given a lot of power. After that, Mikuni told me about his brilliant education as a child up until the death of his mother when he was in middle school. He lost his mother, who shared the same ideals as him, and the discord between him and his father deepened. And then he met Zero. Oh, this explains a lot. Like, alright. So you changed the organization soon after meeting Zero, right? Yes, because my mother was antisocial. It was easy to turn her organization into a terrorist one, Adonis. Yet still, I heard you were both still students at the time. I don't think laying the foundation for something like this was some small undertaking. At the time, the two of us thought that if we worked together, there was nothing we couldn't do. To me, Adonis was life itself. However, Zero was my dream itself. However, now... At some point, I must choose. Do I throw away my life or my dream? Do you have an answer? I wonder. To me, both of them are what makes me me. If I lose either, I cease to be myself. At least I can't help feeling that way. One's life or one's dream. Being stuck in this particular dilemma is an extremely human state, I think. And if he can't make a decision shortly, he's bound to lose both. So that's what Mikuni's holding on to. And so, there isn't much time left. What will he choose in the end? I think I'd like to find out. Call it a day, input the data in the PC, blah, 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 reboot the justice, gonna investigate Mikuni and do the last one, but before we do that, I gotta stop. I'll be back in like a few seconds. You won't know, it'll just flip back right to where we are, but I gotta call my mom. That sounds funny, but like, I didn't realize my mom texted me and I should have done it before I started recording this part, and I was like, shit, I don't want to like leave her sitting there for like an hour or more and being like, hey, sorry, so I haven't talked to my mom in a while, so I'm gonna go call my mom. And like, I didn't have to tell you that. You wouldn't have even noticed I was gone, but I feel weird if I just like stop it and come back, so I'll be back in a minute. Alright, sorry about that. Just, I might text my family back and forth, but I haven't talked to my mom in like forever, so. Anyway, so where were we? Yes, we were visiting Ray for the last time. Did you want to ask about the education facilities? Yes, before, I was told that among the operatives who were in the facility, one was strange, Shiraishi. So I wondered what these Adonis-controlled facilities were like. This is something that's better left alone. Why is that? Because it will generate unnecessary sentimentality. I don't want to become sentimental. I didn't know anything about him. Kageyuki Shiraishi. Loads of crap. That's why I'd like you, who knew what he was really like, to tell me about him. I guess it's not gonna, because we were technically in Yanagi's route, so we kind of barely knew Shiraishi. But, like, I feel like this is more painful for us, the player who has played his route. That's rather unfair of you, to tell me that you want to know more about him. You know that I can't refuse that. Is that because you feel guilt towards him? I feel like his voice has changed between 2 seconds ago when I was recording it now, but anyway. Yes, and not just him. No, let's stop this. Talking to you about this seems to have dredged up some sentimentality. But if you'll be sated with a few trifling antidotes of number 14, I can talk about those. All right then. Mikuni told me a story about when they were still young. The two of them spent only a little bit of time together in the education facility. Oh my god, is this the shoe story again? Is there anything else you would like to ask? Still, I'm always surprised at just how much you know. When it comes to knowledge cataloged in books, nobody here possesses a level of knowledge comparable to what you've imprinted upon yourself. I honestly don't think there's all that much I can teach you. No, there's still much I don't know. There's a limit to book learning. Aside from the shape of an object, it has a weight, scent, taste, and those things can only be learned by experience. Taste? Will you permit me to ask a question? Yes, I permit you. There are foods that are made to be flavorful. They typically have a sweet flavor, and there are many varieties of them that are sold. Yes, those are sweets. When I was young and we had finished training, we were given sweets called cookies and chocolate. However, this one called a marshmallow. No matter how much I read, I just can't imagine its texture. Pardon me, is there a problem? No, I just chuckled a little bit. Yes, a marshmallow's texture is, indeed, difficult to put into words. It's like a cloud. No, I've never eaten a cloud, so there's no way I could know it'd be similar. They are soft, but have some elasticity. But they melt away in your mouth. They're the bane of existence. I hate marshmallows. I don't really hate them like in hot chocolate, but like a giant marshmallow. Or like if you're cooking them and making s'mores, but like a normal, like, here's a marshmallow, eat it. No, weird. I just don't. It's not the taste. Like, I don't mind the taste of marshmallow. It's just that weird chewiness. It's like chewing rubber. It's really weird. But like softer rubber. It's just, I don't know. Marshmallows are fucking bizarre. Look, if you're going to cook them and then you like over the campfire and then you put them in a s'more, that's kind of cool. Or like, you know, the mini ones in hot chocolate. But like otherwise, like marshmallows serve no purpose but to annoy me. Well, they don't annoy. Okay, they're not like bananas, all right? Like fucking bananas. But marshmallows are just like, no. I don't get it. They are quite difficult to explain after all. No, I understand. It's a food beyond comprehension. A cloud that melts in your mouth. I'm curious about the flavor as well. I'd like to eat one someday. No, it's just that having something unknown like that could be a hindrance to my mission. It seems that you've overindulged your curiosity. I'm undergoing training to remove doubts. I'm still not good at that. It's because I allowed you to ask that question. I think your exceptional ability is due in part to your strong sense of curiosity. Their voices are very similar, but I don't, like, whatever. However, I know that coming to see you like this is truly not a good thing. Engaging in meaningless conversations like this about topics unrelated to the mission have no value. After a few more years, you'll be sent on a mission to the outside world. Ensuring that you don't trip up while you're alone and are able to answer even the most delicate questions is my responsibility. Let's just say that I'm doing what's best for the future of the organization. I think it's actually kind of cute because he's like trying to be all serious, but you know, he was my friend. In a weird, like, odd robot kind of way, but like, understood. You hold a truly massive amount of information in your brain right now. If you keep it all on the surface, it will just cause you consternation. You're undergoing training to filter out and discard trivial information. Yes. In that case, please forget everything we just talked about. And then, when it becomes necessary, when the day comes that this meaningless conversation can serve a purpose, please remember it. Does that mean that there will be a day when it's necessary? Yes, I'm sure of it. About the marshmallows? Yes. Right. We were talking about marshmallows. There might come a time when that becomes necessary. Probably. Understood. I have no more questions. Soon it'll be time for training. Yes, well then, excuse me. Mr. Mikuni? Yes? Thank you for telling me. Oh, baby Shiraishi is so innocent. Broken. Doesn't hurt me as much as Akito, though. God damn. And that was that. Huh? I won't speak about him again. To you, or to anyone else. Aww, he actually cared about him. It seemed that he was special to Mikuni as well. He arrogantly allowed himself to give feelings to a doll who shouldn't have them. And he knows exactly how that ended up. This organization killed him. Shall I call it a day? Input data, don't shirk my duties. I'm fucking hungry. Uh-oh, 5 days. Or is this one that we've already read, or is it going to be different, I wonder? Nope, exact same thing. Oh, right! Sin. I'm so sorry for panicking the other time. Are you feeling calmer now? A little bit. I'm so bad at this. I've always tried to hide it, but when I talked to you, I couldn't hold it in. But you look more determined today. Did you make up your mind about something? Yes, there's something I want to tell you before the X-Day plan restarts. Sure. If you do intend to destroy everything, please do not hesitate. Don't mind me and do whatever you must. You make it sound like I'm gonna have a mutiny. I'm a loyal subject of Zero. Zero's like the sun to Adonis. No one can be allowed to threaten his existence. They're all like, we see through you. Everyone sees through us at this point. It's so funny. Like, Zero's like, go find the Judas. He knows it's us too, but everybody else at this point knows. Like, and the sun will always set eventually. As long as Zero is a human being, his end will come as well. Once Zero's gone, Adonis will crumble. Even if a similar organization is formed, people will be able to fight it if Zero's not leading it. Zero's a god who can control the minds of people. I do agree with that. Don't change the subject. You haven't sworn allegiance to Zero. At first I was surprised by how you changed, but that's not it. You're still the same person. And let's assume that I'm trying to destroy everything. You want me to destroy you along with it? I'm prepared to be judged for what I did. You want to be judged. That's because you feel guilty about what happened. But don't try to take advantage of me. That wasn't my intention. Don't deny it. You simply don't want to live anymore while you're bearing this cross. Don't use me for your own suicide. Then what am I supposed to live for? There's no end to this sadness. The negative spiral will continue for all of eternity. I can't find a shred of hope left in this damn world. Akito's gonna kill me. Is living in this world my punishment? Then tell me about Kazuki. Huh? Up until the very end, despite my efforts, well, that fixed it for me. I'm not gonna cry now. I was never able to understand Kazuki. I couldn't face him as family. Sarah, you were the one who filled the void that his family had left behind. You know a lot about Kazuki that I don't. About my own brother. What he was like in school, the music you played. I want to hear about it from you because you were closest to him. I thought I wasn't supposed to talk about Kazuki. Because I don't have the right. Are you really okay with that? Yes. Tell me. Sure. Even when the day comes where I destroy everything, these kind memories will be my rock. Kazuki and I started talking about music after we were put in the same class. So, I'll never go astray ever again. Kazuki noticed me writing music, so he came up to me. We've seen this in their love story. He chased me down after school ended with this serious look in his eyes. He talked about music with so much joy. I was stolen from, and so I shall steal back. I was stolen from, so I shall steal it back. I deal judgment and repeat it. Yes, the cycle won't end as it is. That's why I will end it all. It does kind of actually sound like in this that she didn't come here to kill Zero, because she could have done that in the church. She's coming here to kill everybody, take them all out. Because yes, you could kill Zero, great, but people are still underneath, but you destroy fucking as much as you possibly can. You take out as much as you can. It's a bigger dent, you know what I mean? No matter what, I must sacrifice. I wonder if we plan on dying while we kill everyone. Oh god, this is gonna hurt my voice. Alright, we're gonna do that. Okay, alright.
Say, Hoshi, how long are you gonna be Zero's pawn?
That's a weird thing to ask. I'm a dedicated member of Adonis. I'll live for Zero and die for Zero.
I'm not looking for that by-the-book answer.
By the book?
Isn't it the truth? Everyone around here just says that Zero's everything to them and stuff. Honestly, I'm not that way.
Ishiki is the world to you, huh?
Yeah, I'm thankful to Zero, but I can't die for him. Can you, Hoshi?
She's so fucking cute. I just want to squeeze her. She's crazy. And I fucking love her. I don't know. If Zero tells me to die, I will.
Uh-huh. You sound serious. That's weird.
Why is it weird?
Because it doesn't seem like you worship Zero at all. But you'll totally die if he tells you to?
It'd be much easier if he'd just tell me to die. But he won't say it. He won't ask that of me. It would have been so much better if he hated me.
I don't really get it, but you're here because there's something you want, right? Is it something that I can give to you?
Why do you care about what I want?
Because you gave me what I want the other time. It's just a way for me to thank you. What's wrong with that?
Then there's one thing I want to ask. Forgive me if I'm acting out of character.
What is it? Spill it!
Don't just pin all your dreams in Ishiki. You have to take better care of yourself.
What?
You've taken your revenge. What Adonis is doing right now isn't directly related to Ishiki.
That's true, but I do owe Zero a lot.
From the incident you caused 2 years ago, Adonis earned the reputation as a group that would do anything in order to achieve its ideals. Considering the people you've recruited for the organization, you've contributed enough. This place isn't where you really want to be, and yet just because you can't turn back, you've given up on your dream. You've committed crimes that won't be for Ishiki's sake, and think that you're forced to live in boredom as punishment. Am I wrong?
That makes no sense. I'm here because it's fun. I can support Heroes music from here, too.
It doesn't change the fact that you're a criminal, but you're just an ordinary girl that wanted to support someone you love. Out of everyone here, I figure that you'd be the most likely to leave and atone for your crimes. You won't find happiness from staying here.
What are you?
Oh.
What are you? Don't act like you know me. You're the last person I want to hear that from. You've thrown so many people into the depths of hell. Don't insult me. You want to lecture me? Who the hell do you think you are?
You're different than I am. I can't turn back.
Ugh, you really piss me off. You think you're some tragic heroine?
Actually, yes. No, I'm just saying that I don't have a beacon of hope like you do with Ishiki.
I'm tired. Hoshi, you're way too stubborn. I didn't think you'd talk back like that. Normally you just shrink back and avoid conflict.
So you noticed?
Of course I did. Don't underestimate how observant I am. But you're different today. You're coming out and saying what you want to say.
That's because of you.
Are you sure about that? There's not much time left until X Day. You probably said that stuff because you think it's your last chance to. I'll take your lack of denial as agreement. I'm kind of happy that you were worried for me.
Hana.
But you shouldn't overdo things, Hoshi.
I'll try.
Hey, once everything gets settled down after X Day, let's go out somewhere. I know a good shop. It's a spot by the station.
That actually happened. She'd probably drag me all over the city. It'd be a real pain, but also kind of fun. But that day would likely never come. It's better that it didn't. It's so tragic, like they're doing that. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't get a Mikuni one. Three days left. Okay, here's the thing. In the first one that we went through, we got the twins, right? We did get an Ogata one. We've gotten Sanjo. Did we get we got Akito. Well, we didn't get Mikuni. Maybe he's not. Maybe he doesn't have one. But did we get everyone? Oh, we did get Sugawara because she threatened to kill us. I think we have gotten everyone. I'm not sure. Anyway. Nope. Okay. I don't know if we're going to... I mean, I don't think... Well, we're definitely not finishing in this particular part. But I don't think we'll be able to finish all of Zero's stuff even... I mean, we'll be able to... Prologue. I mean, we're going to get the next prologue and we should be able to finish everything, I'm assuming. So these, I'm assuming... 12. So we got all of Mikuni's stuff. This is interesting. There's two things missing here. Oh, we didn't get a Mikuni individual. Because Mikuni gets an individual. But then there's two things missing there. We got a Suzune individual. Oh, I think it's a Mikuni and Zero double date. Because I'm like, when Mikuni gonna come up? He's okay. I'm just trying to see what we're missing. We got a Soda individual. We got Sugawara. We got Akito. We got Hana. We got Ogata. Oh, so we're missing something. That might be the combo event for Mikuni. Because we got Sanjo and... Yeah, so we got all that. We're missing a combo event, which I'm assuming is Mikuni and Zero, which we wouldn't be able to get for a while. But I'm just curious, there's a lot of these. Oh, that's probably another end. Oh, there's a good end and a bad end. That's the normal end. There are two different endings depending on the choice. There's 10 different things, which could be Zero. And then Mikuni, there's two different other things under his. Huh. Wait, that went up too far. Ray Mikuni Investigation Record 1. Huh. Weird. I'm wondering what we're missing. Anyway. Oop. Oops. Okay, we gotta go back to the prologue. Well, I mean, we're missing all of that, but I'm just wondering, like, what other things he's missing. Oh, whoops. We don't need to watch that again. Falling. Oh my god, lots of stuff. It's weird how you have to go through this like 30 fucking times. So there's at least 10 chapters probably with Zero. So we don't get... He doesn't just have 7. I mean, I would expect he's got more. But then there's with the two Mikuni things and the combo date between them, I'm assuming. There's only one choice, which leads to two different endings. I know what the good ending is, and I know which one's the bad ending, so we'll do the bad one first, and then we'll do the good one, right? Okay, so we've... Wait, did we still have one left of him? Oh, he's got 8! We didn't get to it anyway. I didn't know he's got 8. Okay, so he's got one more. I did not realize that. I thought we were done. Anyway, just when I'm about to go out, who could this be? Interesting. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Mr. Mikuni, what do you want? What are you doing here? Because we ran out of time anyway, because we instantly got the, show up thing. So, wow, okay. There's something I'd like to talk to you about. I thought it would be a shame to have you come all the way to me. It's a little messy, but please come in. Thank you. Let's get right to the point then. Did you find the Judas? Zero told you to investigate me, right? As well as the enforcers, I presume. I mean, I guess they assume you're doing this at the end. Or maybe it didn't unlock until you got... I don't know, anyway. No, he didn't... There's no need to hide it. This is precisely something that he would do. If these enforcers who joined midway knew that the two leaders didn't fully trust one another, wouldn't they be angry? I know that he doesn't trust me, and his suspicions are not necessarily incorrect. Does that mean you're planning to betray Zero? Do you remember the last time we spoke? I need to cast aside my dream or my life, right? Yes? In other words, he was implying that he might need to remove Zero for the sake of Adonis. Yes, I've pretended not to see it. Ever since the X-Day incidents 2 years ago, a schism began to develop between our ideals. A chasm? I can do chasm. His wishes and my hopes might not actually be in harmony, I thought. Even though I made that realization, I pretended I didn't see it. But you said Zero was your dream. Didn't you and Zero create Adonis from the ideals that you and your mother had, in addition to Zero's hopes for the world? When I first met Zero, yes, he certainly was a bright light. I thought he would do great things. That was probably because until that time, I only ran along the rails my mother had laid out for me, and I doubted my own ideals. Change the country, save the weak. To do that, we paradoxically needed to exercise power. The people we couldn't save became a downward spiral. Zero's existence gave me the answer to that, and I felt I was being led. Exercising power to save the weak. That became violence and birthed hatred. Anyone who notices that negative spiral and paradox can't remain a terrorist. However, Zero's existence showed Mikuni the way. The world that Zero hopes for, a world without conflict that's pure and harmonious. Just as it's impossible to remove all emotions, a world without sadness is a fantasy. Zero's wish was to make the impossible possible, a world of pure goodness, a world where people cannot exist. Foolishly, I diverted my eyes from this truth. This is how far I've strayed. You've come this far and you've made a decision? Even though you spent the last 2 years pretending you didn't see it? Adonis transcends blood bonds. It's a bond between myself and him. I did not want to destroy that with my own hand. I wanted to continue dreaming. Now that you've awakened from that dream, what do you hope for now? I want to see a world at peace through Adonis. That alone. I think if you continue on with Zero, it'll be hard to realize that dream. I know, but I cannot cut Zero off. Even though you can do that to others? Do you think I'm arrogant? Yes? You say you do it all for Adonis, but you're trying to destroy the organization with your own selfish feelings. You know that Zero's a threat to Adonis, so all your talk of life and protecting things is empty. You're an arrogant hypocrite in love with yourself. But surely, it's a very human thing to have ego. Is what you want to protect Adonis or Zero? The fact that you can't answer right away is proof that you're still conflicted. What should you do to protect Adonis? You're an astute man, so I'm sure you know. The time to kill him might come. But I cannot do it alone. Oh, but I cannot do it. Okay, sorry. That means you've chosen Zero over Adonis. If I were strong like you, I would have agonized over this. I'm different than you. Just as you can't become like me, I can't become like you. Instead of relying on and blaming others, why not exercise your own will for a change? I didn't think that what I said was funny. Sorry, this is you in your element. It's more appealing than when you're rooting around trying to plumb for information. Huh? The fact that Zero sees me as a traitor and your reasons for joining this organization are things that I already know. Even still, I chose to close my eyes, and the reason is obvious. To protect myself. I can't choose between Zero and Adonis, because that which is most important to me is none other than myself. That isn't strange at all. It's perfectly normal. And because you keep denying yourself that, things have come to this. Indeed. I didn't really laugh well like him, but I was like, just like, sorry. When you turn against Adonis and Zero, you'll be eliminated as an enemy. Even if standing against Zero is for the sake of Adonis's future, yes, to me, Adonis and Zero are one and the same. Unless Zero destroys it, I'm here to protect both. So that's the answer you've come up with. Yes, I promise to treat you as an ally so long as you're not making your rebellion obvious. He's easy on those he cares about. He struggles. He worries. So even Mikuni has human weakness. Even still, that spotless will and those beautiful ideals are completely incompatible with me or Zero. I mustn't be controlled by these dark emotions. The figure of the one trying to fulfill my wishes. It's just so bright. It's so bright that I'm getting dizzy. Interesting. Can't shirk my duties. Oh, cool. It automatically skips all that. I hit the skip button. Who shall I investigate today? Let's see. Okay, now he's done. Okay, so then he'll solo pop up. So, Saeki Story 1. Here we go, bitches. Excuse me. As usual, this place is utterly quiet. It seems like this place has been isolated from reality. I suppose that's only natural. Zero is the symbol of Adonis and is therefore revered as a holy figure. It's only been 2 years since I've joined, but the fact that I'm allowed an audience like this must mean I'm receiving special treatment. However, where's Zero? I don't see him anywhere. Zero? Are you here? He's usually here around this time. I wonder if he's in his quarters. If he's not here, I may as well try again later. Can I get more of the pork belly? Huh? That was Zero's voice just now. Is he asleep? Like, you're supposed to hate him in this whole thing and she's gonna kill him, and then they do this where he's like passed out on a fucking pew and you're like dreaming and you're like, aww. You give us a little chibi Saeki and we're supposed to hate him? Aww. In a place of reverence, he's sitting here asleep in a chair. I like him. What do you think you're doing? I told you not to put lemon on that without asking. This is a familiar scene. He's passed out over drinking too much, looking all innocent while he's asleep. Just what I'm even thinking right now. Zero, are you slacking off? If Mr. Mikuni were to see you like this, he'd be angry with you. Huh? We were at Korean barbecue. Who the hell orders noodles to start? Nobody would ever believe this guy talking in his sleep is the head of a notorious terrorist organization. They're like, have you seen that weird dude that sleeps in the pews? But there's no doubt, this man is Zero, the founder of Adonis, which has taken so many lives and is the evil that stole all that was precious to me. Yet, there are times that he shows himself to be a completely ordinary human. I wonder which one is the real him. Ugh, I told you, no noodles! But when you get noodles at Korean barbecue, they come with special soup and they're really tasty, aren't they? Huh? Hoshino? Are you awake now, Zero? I'm sorry for disturbing you. I feel like we're having a normal conversation with Saeki before we realized who he was. You know what I mean? Morning. Whew, when did I fall asleep? Good morning. Did you doze off? It's not like you. I went to bed late last night. It wasn't even night, actually. It's practically morning. Did you have so much work built up that you had to pull an all-nighter? Well, the day of revival is near. I'm leaving most of the groundwork to Ray, but there's still a lot for me to do as well. That's true. Running the organization, personnel placement, logistics, you are the one who makes the final decision on these things. How best to use the materials we've gathered in order to show the world proper terrorist have we gathered? Okay. In order to show the world proper terrorist acts, we have to maximize the impact of our actions. These kinds of big picture things are tasks that I can't leave up to him. Ray's a bit lacking in certain areas. And in addition to all that, you must hide your identity and give the believers words of hope. You have that important role as well. Did I notice a little edge to your tone? No, I wouldn't dream of it. Well, I know it might seem otherwise, but I'm actually quite busy. Don't you think that Ray should praise my diligence a little more? I think that Mr. Mikuni is generally pretty considerate of you on a daily basis. Really? He just lectures me constantly. Even though we're this busy right now, 2 years ago when he infiltrated the police, he was able to surveil me. He's certainly tough, but I think he could use his stamina for something better. So what do you want? It's odd for you to just come here on your own. Did something happen? Oh, yes. Since I'm here to find out more about him, I can't tell him my real purpose. I need to come up with something. Even if I don't come up with something, I'm assuming he's already figured it out. I wanted to get your input on some weapons that I'm planning on adding to our armory. Right. You mainly got ones that are highly effective in close quarters combat. Yes, we have a number of battle rifles, but thinking about ease of use, I thought we should increase the number of shotguns. And the reason for that is? You can never have too many gurns? The battle rifles we have are very fussy. It require a lot of training to make sure our members are comfortable with their unreliability. Moreover, the actual effective range isn't all that different, but the shotguns have an edge in ease of use and effectiveness. Cost is fairly similar. If that's what you think, then go ahead with it. Your knowledge of firearms and their evaluation is second to none. Thank you for your words. And? I'm sure that's not the only reason you came here. Huh? Unbelievable. Has he actually figured out that I'm here to find out things about him? Maybe you wanted to spend some time with me. Or were you lonely? He's so fucking full of himself. He's like, he just wants us to want to spend time with him. Huh? Oh, he's just teasing me. I wish he would reserve that type of teasing for Ray Mikuni. And that reminds me, pardon me for asking, but you were talking in your sleep earlier. Huh? Talking in my sleep? Really? Yes, about Korean barbecue and noodles. Ugh, now that's embarrassing. You were talking about putting lemon on the meat and something or other specific about the noodles. Okay, I get it. You can stop there. Even I can get embarrassed, you know? Well then, please get some rest. I'm sorry for disturbing you. Yeah. This can't also be an act. Remember the one time he said that it's all the real him? What's a lie and what's the truth? I'm always trying to solve that riddle. Call it a day, input data, get some sleep, dreaming of the rebirth of justice, gonna go talk to Zero again. We're not gonna be able to finish his, so we definitely will have another part to finish everything up, I'm assuming, so. My report's complete. At this time, I see no evidence that the enforcers are behaving strangely. Got it. Please continue your work. Understood. And by the way, there's something I'm curious about. What is it? What did you talk to them about? Nothing special, really. Those not special topics are what I'm curious about. Tell me. I guess it is difficult to guess what trivial topics I'd be talking to the enforcers about. Well, likes and dislikes of food, hobbies. Honestly, just general things that wouldn't raise any alarms with them. Food preferences, was it? The food from the cafeteria isn't too bad, so it makes for good conversation. The way to people's hearts is through their stomachs. But that also makes you kind of like an old man. You've always liked food, haven't you? Huh? Even though your lunches were feminine, when we go out to drink, you'd have grilled skate wing? I don't like... Or shark cartilage. That sounds... Well, skates are like... Aren't they like similar to stingrays? Kind of. Is that... Anyway. I don't remember that. As usual, you found a way to kill the conversation. Those normalcies of the past is what I want to forget the most. Yet like a reflex, I end up remembering so much. Even though you liked alcohol, you didn't enjoy any of the special items that pair with it, so I don't want to hear anything from you. So you do remember! The person who works in the cafeteria told me that you don't like anything that normally goes with alcohol, so it's hard to make a menu for you. I just remember them saying that is all. There aren't many people who are allowed an audience with Zero, but a fairly large number of people do take care of his needs. Because they know that we were acquainted in the past, they ask me about him from time to time. Well, yeah, but things like squid in its own ink or milk look and taste disgusting. And it's not like I really like Japanese sake all that much, so I don't think it's a big deal. I do like alcohol, but it's less that I enjoy drinking alcohol. I liked the atmosphere of those places and the energy of the people who were letting it all go and drinking. So even though I'm not fond of noisy places or crowds, I often went to drinking parties. Is that so? Well, he definitely wasn't a strong drinker. He would get drunk easily and then insist that he was completely fine. It's so funny, though, that he'd get totally drunk and nothing would ever slip. I mean, like, he had a good facade built up. Now I'm sure that he doesn't enjoy drinking like that anymore. To put it bluntly, his role now is to be isolated, to hide himself to all but the directors and listen to the sighs in this quiet sanctuary. All alone. I need to stop this line of thinking. There's no point in dwelling on these things. Oh, that reminds me. I like the sandwiches that you used to share with me sometimes. They had a lot of good stuff in them and they tasted good. Huh? Well, we're talking about food likes and dislikes, right? Treat me the same as you do the enforcers. That's a funny face you're making. Don't you want to know my likes and dislikes? It's not that. I just don't remember anything about sandwiches. Fine. Let's leave it at that. It'd be nice to have you make some sandwiches and go somewhere. Maybe the sea. Yeah, he's so hard trying to date us. It's ridiculous. The sea? He's screwing with me again. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to cook since coming here. I don't think I'd be able to do what you're asking. I mean, she's like, oh, he's trying to fuck with me. He's messing with me, trying to get in my head and trying to be the good old psych. But I really do think that maybe part of him's trying to screw with you to like, throw you off your guard. But I think he's actually, it's like one of those like, we should go on a nice date somewhere. What? Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm a little serious, but I'm kidding because I know damn well you're going to say no, but I'm just throwing it out there in case you said yes. Like, I think he means it, but I think he's also like, oh, I mean it, but I know she's not going to like respond well, so I'm saying it to fuck with her, you know? I think he's in love with us. Aw, don't say things like that. You've been really cold to me lately. Although I guess you always were stubborn, though. He's looking at us with those adorable, sad puppy eyes. He has some nerve to say something like that. This is always how I've been. I was saying that internally. This is always how I've been. Excuse me. Whenever I come to learn about Zero, I feel like it just takes a heavier mental toll on me. What am I even doing? I think the thing is, like, they're definitely making it like he's trying to be nice and friendly or whatever so that you remember Sayeki, the person you were like, oh, we loved it. He was so much fun on this. And you're supposed to be just as confused as she is. She's like, God damn, Say, I hate you. I want to kill you. But then you're like, but like, he was our friend. And like, it's actually well done, but you've been coming to visit me often lately. Huh? Is it true that I've been coming here more? Oh, it is true that I've been coming here more. I thought that was a question. Before, you'd only come by if it was necessary. That's still true right now. X Day's approaching, and there are many things that I need to report on. It's also necessary that I report on the mission that you gave me as well. So are you here today to report on X Day as well? Yes, this morning I have a suggestion about the 23rd pattern in the planning documents. Is there something wrong? Because there's a lot of space here, I think adding sonic weaponry would be most effective. Sonic weapon! A weapon that emits sound waves aimed at people to neutralize them. It's used as a deterrent and is much less lethal than firearms. However, people who are hit with this can develop hearing disabilities or brain damage. There are also types that can cause serious damage. Sound has been used in torture since ancient times. Like you having to listen to my voice and me reading this game. You're right. I thought the plan might be lacking in regards to the exfiltration plans. If we wish to procure them, we should do so quickly. Agreed. I'll leave the details up to you. Understood. I'll try and get that arranged today if possible. Alright, but you really are good at this kind of work. Thank you. That was close. I almost showed my irritation with him for a moment there. Well, I do know that I am. I am kind of a weaponry fanatic after all. When the topic of weapons come up, you seem to light up and you know more about them than nearly anyone. You're doing research late into the night. It's an honor to be praised by you. I've been gaining book knowledge, but also hands-on experience for these past 2 years. But I'm still no match for you. Really? My knowledge is no match for your obsession for all this stuff. Whenever we talk about these things, you understand everything I've researched without missing a beat. Your innate knowledge exceeds my gained knowledge. He's just faking it. How did you learn so much about weapons? Well, before this was Adonis, the organization was a religious organization with underworld ties. Many of them had a lot of weapons knowledge. Thanks to that fact, I've been handling weapons since I was a kid. You've been using them for that long? It's not like you were specially trained to learn about them, right? Right. I learned the basics and the rest was self-study. I wanted to be able to get the most out of any weapon in a given situation, so I studied. As a result of that, I became good at marksmanship. I figured it wouldn't hurt to be good at it. I practiced a lot. It's true, when we were cops and we'd go to the range together, he was very good. I guess it's to be expected that he practiced that much. So that means you had a talent for it. Without you really being interested in weapons, you wouldn't have gotten far as a self-taught shooter. No, it's not that I particularly like weapons or that marksmanship was a hobby. But it's good to have many tricks up one's sleeve, right? I figured this would be a useful skill, so I practiced and studied. I'm not sure if he's stoic or just off-kilter. I think it's actually kind of amazing for him to be that good without having any kind of real interest in it. It feels off in a way. I mean, it kind of feels like he's some kind of robot or something. Oh my god, Saeki's a robot! So what are your hobbies? Or do you even have any? Oh, do you want to know? So you do want to learn about me after all? Yes, because I revere you. You never show it. I guess I've decided to start. Oh? Well, whatever. Hobbies. I guess I have as many as anyone. What do you think might be mine? Well, this is just a guess, but gambling and card games are things that you seem to be good at. What are you talking about? What is this crazy image you have of me? Well, one way or another, you became the leader of Adonis, and in my mind, all smart people are good at gambling. I see. So you just aligned me to fit your template. But that one way or another is pretty harsh. I don't mean anything by it. So your image is that I'm lucky. But come on, think about the me that you know. Huh? Let's just say, if you, me, and Mr. Mochita played old maid all afternoon, don't you dare bring Mochita into this! He is pure as the fucking sun, don't you dare! You keep him out of this! You leave him alone! Who do you think would be the big loser? Aww. See, it came back to you, didn't it? That image of me being mortified. Despite my efforts, I can totally envision this. So you see, you know that it's a weakness of mine. I'm not particularly smart, and I'm not lucky. I'm just handsome and really good at conning people. I was usually the big loser in almost all of the games we played at the police academy. Now that he mentions it, that's true. I remember being glad for his sake that money was never involved in any of that. So he wasn't just acting. To think, the leader of a major terrorist organization has such bad luck that he's a huge loser in betting. So what's the correct answer? What's your real hobby? I guess I like looking at fish. Fishing? That doesn't fit his image at all. No, I mean like an aquarium. Oh, you mean like raising tropical fish and aquatic plants in an aquarium? Yeah, there's actually a lot that goes into that stuff. You can get really wrapped up in it, but if you make the effort, it can be really beautiful. You see, I have one in my room. Do you want to come see it? Oh my god, he's trying to get us into bed already. No, I'll refrain. I don't think I should set foot in your private room. It's okay if you come to my room to visit sometimes. Do you think something might happen to you? Of course not. Don't laugh while you look that serious. It's creepy. If Mr. Mikuni dislikes me any more than he does now, it'll make things difficult for me. Now then, excuse me. Taking this conversation any further will become problematic. I better go. Yeah, he's like, you want to come back to my room? He's so trying to get us into bed. Come on, you can't tell me. Call it a day, input data, shark duties, rebirth of justice. 20 days! We won't be able to finish his in this part, but we will be able to finish this in this bit of the prologue. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to have to go back, start the prologue all over to get it. We should be able to finish everything up this time around. But we'll have to do another part. So I guess we have at least one more part because we have 20 days. There's at least we're going to get the double date with them. We've got to get Mikuni to pop up. Saeki has at least 7 more things after this. Yeah, we should be able to fit it in, I think. What kind of guy do you like? Huh? Didn't you hear me? No, it's not that. Why would you ask me something like that? I think she's supposed to say no, not now. She asked for conversation. You ask the enforcers this kind of thing, right? How do you know that? A little bird told me. You must be tapping the rooms. So, what's your type? Well, he's tapping the rooms, and that's so creepy. Because then all the shit, if you think about it, all the shit that people came into us and said, if you're going to take him out, like blah, blah, blah. So he already, I think he already knew from the very beginning anyway. He knew before we as the player knew what was going on. But also then all the people like talking like, oh, I think he's in love with you. And you're like, yeah, no, fuck that shit. Out. So he like knows that we're like, yeah, nah, no. And like everyone's like, I think he's in love with you. And he's hearing all these people say this. And he's not like, by the way, I'm not in love with you. He just keeps going like, want to come to my bedroom? But it's gotta hurt him a little bit, because I know, you know damn well Sayaki's in love with us. You knew from the very beginning, day one, the fucking second he rolled up in the game, like, hey, Hoshino, what's up? You're like, he's in love with us. There was no way they were gonna throw this character in there at all, whether he was evil or not, and he wasn't gonna be in love with us. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're dating him, huh? Shiraishi, right? Wow. Okay. You know, but it's so funny. He's hearing people like talk like, oh, I think he's in love with you. And he's like, yeah. And then she's like, oh, gross. No. So then he's like, you should come to my bedroom. Oh, and she's like, he's just fucking with me. And he's like, I wish I could fuck with you, but you won't let me. And that's how we're going to take him out, is just denying him so much. He's literally going to curl into a ball and die. I can't handle it. She hates me. What are you doing, bird? Anyway. Well, he won't let this go till I answer. I guess I'll just come up with something. Well, I like a man who can hold their liquor. Oh, a body has been discovered! Oh, she just... A body has been discovered! Oh, Jesus! Shots fired. Someone from a good background, has a good body, likes food that goes well with alcohol, enjoys crowds, and is good at gambling, I guess. She shot him, stabbed him, drew, quartered him, lopped off his head, set him on fire, and then doused the ashes. Oh, God. Jesus, never mind. There's not even a body left. Monokuma, take back that fucking announcement. He ain't got nothing. Oh, shit. Jesus Christ. I think this is the best part of this whole fucking game. So, the exact opposite of me, then. Is that the opposite of you? I wasn't trying to say anything like that. Actually, it feels like you were specifically trying to say it like that. What? No, I certainly wasn't. You don't need to protest that much. If you get that flustered, you'll be misunderstood. Fine. Don't glare at me like that. And now that I think about it, when we go drinking, we talk about stuff like this a lot. Yeah, I recall that. I did ask him what kind of girls he liked. What kind of girls do I like? If I were to use a celebrity as an example, it'd be Nozomi Yoyogi? Sayaki, don't you think she's a bit out of your league? Hey now, it's okay to dream, isn't it? I want to date a cute girl. Someone with a good body who's also a good cook. He's literally talking about us. And she might be a little shy and reserved, but she's willing to speak her mind. And she seems pretty diligent and responsible. Absolutely us. You've obviously put way too much thought into fantasizing about what Nozomi Yoyogi would be like, and it's kind of creepy. Why, it's not like I think I'd actually date her or anything. Honestly, relationships are a pain. He's like, I love you, Hoshino. Huh? Aren't you always saying you want a girlfriend? Well, that isn't a lie, but then I'd be constrained in a lot of ways. For example, I wouldn't be able to come and drink with you. Well, that's true. When you put it that way, it'd be kind of a shame. Right. You'd be sad if you couldn't drink with me anymore, right? This is so cringy. For him. I want to cringe so hard for him. Oh, Sayaki. Oh, shots have been fired. The shots keep coming. Sweetie, you're gonna die. You're riddled with bullet holes. It's like fucking RoboCop up in here. So it's not like I can't get a girlfriend. It's that I'm trying not to. Sure. We'll just say that's how it is. Jeez, you don't believe me, do you? It's totally true that I'd rather spend time with you than trying to find a girlfriend. And he's giving us that look. Oh my god, I feel so bad for him. Thanks, same here. I just remembered something unpleasant, even though it was a false memory. What's wrong, Hoshino? You really aren't going to answer that for me? No, I actually do prefer a man that can hold their liquor. Psh! Whether or not someone can hold their alcohol isn't something you can change with effort. It's all whether you have the genes for it. Nah, you just learn to drink a lot. I don't know why he's getting uptight. It's not like things would change if you were to match the characteristics of my ideal guy. Literally, you absolutely purposely... None of your boyfriends, maybe the liquor part, but I don't even think. All those things didn't describe any of them. You were literally purposely telling him the complete opposite of him just to fuck with him, and I love it. Even if he were to fall in love, I'm sure he wouldn't change in the least. Even if he were to fall in love. Sweetie, he's in love with you. I can't believe you don't know that. Shall I call it a day here? Input data. We'll do one more. With the other 10-minute part and then this, we're at about an hour, but we'll go a little over. We'll give ourselves one more, and we'll do this way. It's about halfway through his. So, Zero, may I ask you a question? And don't be so formal. I've never ignored one of your questions, have I? Just go ahead and ask whatever you'd like. In that case, can you tell me about your family? He's fallen silent. This is rare. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to ask this after all. Yuzuru Saeki is someone who exists in public records, but neither of his parents are listed. He's also nothing like who he was at school. In other words, he's stolen someone's identity. So this person, Zero, who's in front of me now, just what kind of upbringing did he have? If I can learn that, I might be able to understand him a little better. My family, huh? You want to know about that, do you? Yes, I wanted to know, so I asked you. So Saeki isn't a real person. Ooh, wow, that's even harder. That is where you're like, no, Saeki is the person, his real self. The Zero is a secret identity kind of thing, and he is both people. But now when you're like, he stole someone else's identity, so you don't actually know who he really is. And that makes you go, whoa, 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 whoa. Because like was it Unagi's? I think it was Unagi's. Where like we went to see him and in prison, and he was like, no, this is the real me. And you're like, I don't know who the real you is. And he's like, all these are real me. Like the Zero is me, Saeki's me, like there were just pieces of me. You know what I mean? And sure, okay, if you take that at face value, like, okay, well, here's Zero, I'm really deep down. But like, hey, I have that jovial fun side, and I just showed you that, but all of it together is the real you. But that's not even true when you have this Zero self, you have the Saeki persona, and then there's actually the real person that you were before you stole Saeki's identity. And then crafted so like, were you the same person as Saeki? You're like, oh, I just changed my name to Saeki, but when you do that, it's like you're taking on a whole other persona, so there is this other person that he is, so you really don't know who he is. Oh my god, that's so crazy. Anyway. You're awfully straightforward today. It's not a very interesting story. I really do. Would be really fun to have a second, like a fan game. I really want the fan game where we can date Akito as Kazuki, and they get the happy ending, and like, Akito isn't... We save him from X Day, like I said earlier. But then it would be interesting to get a Saeki route where you like start falling in love with him, blah, blah, blah. But then he's like, what, X Day? Wow, yeah, that's terrible. And you never find out he was ever part of it and he pulls away from it. Like we save the world by actually liking Saeki instead of crushing his spirit. So that we never know who he is. Like we as the player would know, but she would never know who he was. And then you just see like what could be in a perfect world where Saeki didn't like... Or Saeki never joined Adonis, like something different happened in his life. Kind of interesting. Anyway, he wouldn't be Saeki then. Like the person he was as Saeki is the person he crafted. So he would have had to have been part of Adonis, but maybe he just like leaves the organization and they never find Zero, and you never like in all the original paths we're like, oh, well, we never find out who Zero is, and Saeki's like, yeah, well. But we continue on like in a romance with him and we never know he was Zero, and like Adonis never comes back because he's just happy in his normal life and is like, you know what I mean? That'd be so fucking amazing. Kind of need that. Anyway. You're awfully straightforward today. It's not a very interesting story. That's fine. No matter how plain and simple it is, I want to know. So Zero started talking. He told me about his childhood, how he arrived at where he is now. Talking about his past, he seemed more indifferent than usual. Almost like he was talking about someone else entirely. This person that he tried to forget. Well, I guess that's everything. So, Wasn't very interesting, was it? It's not true at all. Thank you so much for telling me all of that. Being alone with his mother at an early age, his mother being the lover of a high-status individual, and taking care of her as she fell sick. Oh my god, he's fucking Goro Akechi. She didn't realize he was her son at the very end, and she died thinking he was his father. It's more than enough to leave scars on one's heart. But even though it was his own story, he didn't seem pained by telling it. I know this is a rude thing to ask, but have you ever met your father? I've seen him several times, but I never really wanted to meet him, and I didn't really feel anything special when I met him. Is that so? Do you feel sorry for me? Not enough to fall in love with you, I know that's what you're thinking, but it's a common story. Just another typical tale of the weak who are simply prey for others. Why would you put it like that? It's the truth, but I wouldn't forgive that truth. Staying weak like that, dying while wallowing in grief like that would be pitiful. Right now that person's still here. He's afraid of being alone. He's afraid of living and dying. He's afraid of people. He's lonely. He wants help. It is pitiful, so I want to get rid of it all. That's all. Graves' mouthpiece. He said that once. He feels something that I can't see. A vortex of sadness, perhaps. I mean, just because you had a shit life as a kid doesn't... Oh! Double date! Double date with the Dark Twins. We're doing this in the next part. We're definitely not doing this now. So I'm going to wrap this up here, and we will go on a double date with death, basically, in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.